Good morning. Did that last one just to wake everyone up? I am Jon Palumbo. I am honored to serve as your worship leader today, and my pronouns are he, him. Welcome to our service. In this sacred space, we celebrate our humanity, our diversity, and the boundless love that unites us all. Our minister, Reverend Christine Dance, is away from the pulpit today, attending the UUA General Assembly. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix strives to be a spiritual community for our time, one that is theologically diverse, radically inclusive, and justice-centered. Our doors swing wide to embrace all who seek a welcoming place. May our worship today be a source of inspiration, a comfort in challenging times, and a call to action. If you are new here, a hearty welcome to you. Anybody new today or first couple times here? Hello. Thank you very much. Welcome. We encourage you to come back several times as our services are different each week, including this week.
I'm Benji Messer, the music director here. I use he, him pronouns as well. And I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. That I know your heart. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream.
I'm Jon LaBarbera. I'm your worship associate, and my pronouns are he, they, mixing it up here today. Join me as we recite our covenant, and Michael Vaughn lights our chalice. If you're watching remotely and you have a chalice with you, please light it with us. Come on up. Don't be shy. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to share our strength in fellowship. Thus do we covenant. Thank you, Michael. Before you sit down, please wave to our folks on Zoom and take a moment, turn around and smile at your neighbors. Say hello, hello. Hello, hello. So great to see you. How are you doing? All right, you may be seated, as 99% of you are. Great timing, guys. Thank you.
I have a few announcements. Actually, I have one announcement. Your civic engagement team continues to encourage you to take petitions for signatures from even a few friends and relatives. Read and encompass how easy the process can be. Also, the team wishes to alert you that it is very important to check your voter status, especially if you're accustomed to voting by mail. See the important link in Compass. And now let us draw deeper into the present moment and into our worship.
For good measure. Thank you. Our opening words are from Shel Silverstein. Where the sidewalk ends. There is a place where the sidewalk ends and before the street begins. And there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright, and there the moon bird rests from his flight to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black, and the dark street winds and winds and bends, past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow. We shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk white arrows go, to the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk white arrows go, for the children they mark, and the children they know, the place where the sidewalk ends. I now invite our children, youth, and any adults who'd like to come forward for Together Time.
Good morning. So, John just was kind enough to read to us the poem Where the Sidewalk Ends. And I was wondering if I could get some of your thoughts about what you thought of the poem. Did you like the poem? I hear absolutely from the audience. Oliver, did you like the poem?
I like that poem. In fact, I have 3 of his poem books.
You do?
Oh, you're lucky. You got 3 of his poem books?
Only it was the rare copy, the one that got printed upside down.
Cool.
Look for you if you want to read a Shel Silverstein book upside down.
So, you know the poem Where the Sidewalk Ends?
Yes, I also know 8 balloons and Hungry Mungry.
Yes. There's lots of great ones, right? So what do you think when you heard the poem?
I thought it was good, but the poem I love most of all by Shel Silverstein is With His Mouth Full of Food.
Yeah.
So in the poem, he talks about let's leave the place where the smoke blows black and the dark street winds and bends. What do you think when you hear that?
I think it's a moment in where someone just tries smoking a pipe.
Okay, try smoking a pipe. That's unique. It makes me think of when we're in places, a lot of times cities, it can be smoky and dirty, and there's lots of tall buildings, and there's not a lot of green stuff around in a lot of cities. Did you know that?
In the poem with his mouth full of food, they talk about some guy named Milford, right? And though he knows it is rude, talks with his mouth full of food.
Yeah.
And then they call the clueless mouth.
And the
When he said, moo, moo, moo.
yes,
I want dog with my mouth full of food.
let's talk about where the sidewalk ends today, okay? So then he says that we walk with a walk that is measured slow and go where the chalk white arrows go. For the children they mark and the children they know the place where the sidewalk ends. Why do you think he said the children know where the sidewalk ends?
I don't know, but aren't we going to talk about Shel Silverstein today and his books like The Giving Tree? I used to really like Giving Tree.
John's going to talk a little spoiler. John's going to talk a little bit about the giving tree, but I'm going to talk about where the sidewalk ends. Okay. So I found it very interesting that Shel talked about children. They mark the children they know, the place where the sidewalk ends. So it's interesting that he mentioned the children, and we'll talk about that a little later. And then after service, you can meet with Oliver and talk about all of Shel Silverstein's poems. Thank you very much for coming up. I appreciate your help, Oliver. Everybody can return to their seats.
I haven't read that one yet, but now I have to. Each month, our congregation selects a local organization that takes action on issues in alignment with our UUCP mission, and we share our offering each Sunday. This gives you an opportunity to learn about the organization, reflect on your level of interest and appreciation for what they're doing, and act to support them, either by donating to the offering in service or online, or by finding out more about them, perhaps to volunteer or consider any other way of contributing to their work. It's an opportunity to learn, reflect, and act. Service is our prayer, and one way of being centered in social justice. This month, our Share the Plate offering will support the George Washington Carver Museum and Cultural Center, known simply as the Carver, located right here in Phoenix. The Carver is housed in the former Phoenix Union Colored High School, built in 1926 as Arizona's only segregated high school for African American students. Today, the center preserves and shares the history, culture, art, and achievements of African Americans in Arizona through exhibits, educational programs, community events, and historical archives. The Carver is also connected to a topic many of us have been discussing at the museum, as the museum houses a cast of the controversial statue that stands on our grounds. And recently, a group of our members visited the Carver to learn more about its history and context. For all that you give, we are so grateful. Ushers, thank you so much for your willing hands in helping us pass the plate.
We recognize that our lives are interconnected. Part of our journey as a community is sharing our significant milestones, joys, and sorrows. If you're on Zoom, you can put a note in the chat if you're in person and want us to read your joy or sorrow next week. Fill out a card before service at the small table in the back of the sanctuary. Just checking online. We have a joy from Lydia Yannick. While in Pine having lunch yesterday, we experienced a brief and very local rain shower. Grateful for every little bit. From James Hunt Sorrow, he says, I'm still having a bad pain flare-up and my hip was spasming a lot last night. Please keep me in your thoughts as I rest and recover. And you are in our thoughts, James. Joy from the Willis family. Tiffin would like to celebrate that she is in first grade now. Yeah. Yay, Tiffin. And a joy from Bunny Dale and Gary Azell. The joy from Bunny and Dale is happy to have Gary Azell join them at the service, watch the service today. And a sorrow from Jennifer Davey. Last week, we had let you know that Addie was released from Phoenix Children's Hospital after 11 days having a ruptured appendix. Unfortunately, she's back in the hospital with a continuing infection. And Jennifer's older daughter, Isabel, is recovering from severe depression at an adolescent mental health facility and is doing well and is looking forward to joining us back later this summer. She can't have technology, but she would really welcome any cards of support. If anyone wants to write her, please email or text Reverend Christine for the address. This has been a lot for the family, and we have a meal train for gift cards, but any kind of cards, love, and support are welcome. And Jennifer, you and your family are definitely in our hearts. And I don't see any others online. May our joys and sorrows, those named and those held in the silent sanctuaries of our heart, help us draw closer and care for each other. I invite you into a time of meditation and prayer. Take a moment to settle your body. Take a few breaths and be here in the present moment. On Friday, we recognized 10 years since the tragedy at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. 10 years after the Pulse nightclub shooting, we remember 49 sacred lives taken by hate. Memory must become mercy. Prayer must become action. And solidarity must become visible. LGBTQ+ people deserve safety, dignity, and love. Let us take a moment of silent reflection in memory of the lives lost and the lives forever changed that tragic night. Amen, and blessed be. I'm sorry, I missed. Yes. I missed a joy from our ministerial intern, Isaac Castro. Snuck it in there on me. Isaac is delighted to be able to officially share his upcoming vocational plans with UUCP as his internship time nears completion. The UUA has hired him as the newest Congregational Life Field staff member in the Pacific West region. He's excited to begin exploring new scenery as he relocates to the Pacific Northwest for this role, which begins in August. A hearty congratulations to you, Isaac. I know you've been incredible for us, and I know you will be incredible in your new role for the UUA. Thank you, Benji.
Sure. So many of you know UUCP member Janelle, but there are two things you may not know. Of course, some of you are just meeting Janelle now. First, Janelle plays the jaw harp. The jaw harp is a small, ancient instrument, single vibrating reed on a frame that uses the inside of your mouth as a resonator. And Janelle has collected all sorts of traditional jaw harps from around the world, and also is like a scholar, like follows how jaw harp is used in modern music. And second, Janelle is moving soon back to her hometown of Dallas, Texas. I know, we'll miss you. So I'm glad to feature Janelle again today. We're just going to play a brief improvised meditation. Feel free to find a comfortable spot in your chair, close your eyes, and take this in.
Now that's what I call jaw harp. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Benji. When I was a kid, I would read my grandparents' copy of The Giving Tree, one of Shel Silverstein's classics, of course. I always thought of it as a good story, a nice story. The kid got everything he wanted. Of course, from a 5-year-old's perspective, that's what you're supposed to think, right? But something else caught my attention as a child. On the back of that lovely little green book, it was Shel Silverstein's face. Can we get a picture of that up there? Yeah. Terrifying, right? As a kid, I didn't quite know what to think. Like, this was a sweet book, and the guy who wrote it looks like that. Obviously, my attitude toward outer appearances hadn't exactly matured yet. I would stare at this dude's face. Why is he choosing to half open his mouth like that? Why does he look mad at the person taking his picture? His beard, however, looks very well manicured, and I'd like to meet his barber. I revisited the book a couple of years ago as what some might interpret as an adult. And thank you. It struck me in such a profound way that I just had to Google every little thing about it. Of course, I came across scholarly articles of academic discourse much longer than the book itself. For the uninitiated, a boy befriends a tree. He climbs her limbs, swings from her branches, eats her apples, and the tree was happy, as Silverstein writes. As the boy grows older, he only returns to his old friend when he needs something. He sells her apples for cash, uses her branches to build a house, chops her down to a stump to build a boat, all on her insistence, might I add. And when he returns as an old man, all he needs is a place to sit, and the tree is more than happy to oblige. Critics, literary professionals, and readers seem to be firmly in one of two camps. Either this is a story of how parents will sacrifice anything for their children to give them a better life, or this is a story about boundaries and why you need them. It can certainly be both, and we can certainly be both. Sometimes you're the kid, and sometimes you're the tree.
So, if we're all talking about Shel Silverstein, I don't love all of Shel Silverstein's work, but I am inspired by him as an artist, as someone who made art for children that was art first, and only for children second. He didn't tone everything down to avoid upsetting parents, which, is maybe why his work has been banned so frequently in schools. It's got a lot of parents are upset by themes of the kids don't always want to do what the parents want. I know, hard to imagine. Someone else who made art for children and didn't write down to them, who I really love, is Jim Henson. And he did that with a big team that included a lot of incredible musicians. So here's a song about following your dreams that Paul Williams and Kenny Asher wrote for Kermit the Frog to sing in the Muppet movie. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? Oh, sure, sing with me. And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell, we know that it's probably magic. it calls the young sailors. The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La-di-da-da-di-da-do, la-da-di-da-da-di-da-do. Thank you for singing that with me.
Thank you, Benji, and thank you for everyone else for singing along. Side note, before I start, John, I was also terrified of Shel Silverstein's face on the back of the books. Fortunately, his poems had enough of effect on me that I could accept that. Reverend Christine gave a challenge to the worship associates. She asked us to each pick a poem, song, or short story, and as a group, dive deep into the possible meaning and lessons of that reading. To be honest with you, I picked the poem Where the Sidewalk Ends kind of on a whim. Although I very much loved Shel's poetry as a child, and still do now, I kind of disliked Where the Sidewalk Ends. It was too serious for me, not whimsical enough. As an adult, the poem grew on me. It became more of a lesson to me, to be more like a child in my priorities and my outlook in life. And most analysis of Where the Sidewalk Ends is that the poem is telling adults to be free and innocent when they can, to not let go of work, and to be constant drive to succeed and to stop. Be free from worry and be playful. The writer C. Wesley Clow writes, central to the poem's appeal is its evocation of childhood as a state of wonder and limitless potential. That reference to peppermint wind and the soft white grass are elements that seem to belong in a dreamland, suggesting that such a magical place can be found just beyond the mundane realities that adults have come to accept as the entirety of existence. That shift in perspective from when I was a child to an adult interested me enough to explore it more. And that's kind of where I was until my fellow worship associates got their hands on it. Together we conducted a kind of structured brainstorming of the poem, and today I'd like to share with you some of the lessons we can learn from the deeper exploration of that poem. As mentioned by the writer, the first stanza tells of a fantastical place, a place with soft white grass, peppermint wind, and moonbirds, related to but not quite reality. Never heard of moonbirds. This place where the sidewalk ends is idyllic to the point where it can't be real. And then the second stanza starts dark. It describes a place where smoke blows black and a dark street, but Shel couldn't help putting a little bit of light in, mentioning where the asphalt flowers grow. Those flowers that grow through the cracks in pavement are a symbol of hope and resistance. Maybe Shel wanted us to recognize the resistance that exists in our society, the anti-capitalist and green movements. Maybe he wanted to say the earth resists our attempts to control it. Or maybe he just noticed flowers that grow in the cracks and liked them. And the asphalt flowers mark a transition in the stanza to the message of hope. The next line reads, "We shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow." Shel is telling us that we can find our way to that idyllic paradise, but it will be a long journey, and that must be deliberately taken. There are no shortcuts that we can rush to the end. And we'll watch where the chalk white arrows go to the place where the sidewalk ends. There's even arrows on this long path, pointing us to the right direction, guiding us to the idyllic place. And what about the choice to use chalk as the arrows? Chalk is temporary. Is Shel telling us that as society changes, maybe the path changes as well? But it's okay because the arrows can be erased and redrawn to keep us on the path. But the arrows being chalk also means people in positions of power and authority can act to erase the arrows. But that's okay because those resisting the authoritarians will just redraw the arrows. I can't help today but to think of the former Pulse nightclub. In a symbol of hope and recognition of our diversity, and a symbol of pride in the LGBTQ+ community, the crosswalk outside the nightclub was painted in rainbow blocks instead of the normal black and white. When the Florida government outlawed rainbow crosswalks, among many other things, and yes, Ron DeSantis and the Florida legislature really are that petty. People went out and chalked rainbow blocks again. And when the government washed away that chalk, the people went out and chalked the rainbow again. The process has repeated itself over and over again to this day because the people refused to give in to the authoritarian act of the government. Back to Shel's poem, in the third stanza, Shel reinforces the message of hope, repeating that we'll walk a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk white arrows go. Then, all the way at the end of the poem, he lets us on to the most powerful message to me. For the children they mark, and the children they know the place where the sidewalk ends. It's the children that have walked the path before us. It's the children that have marked the path for us to follow. The children know the way to the ideal place where the sidewalk ends, and they want us to follow. And what is this path? I think the children shun the idea of profit being important. They find happiness and satisfaction from whatever the world gives them. And they have drawn a path for adults to do the same. The poem is hopeful that the adults will listen, but it leaves us wondering if they will. How does that relate to our current world? And a caveat that I will speak from the lens of the United States, but much of this applies around the world as well. The adults of our world, think of the establishment and the government, are destroying our environment, suppressing minorities, and depriving so much of the population of basic human rights, all for the sake of profit and power. Our youth have been steadfastly fighting against the establishment and trying desperately to save the world, not hyperbole. There are so many examples of our youth fighting for change. Most recently with the school walkouts across the country, an effort that many youth in our congregation participated in. And they have drawn this path for the adults so many times. But as of yet, too many of the adults have largely ignored that path. I myself am guilty of often looking at the actions of my own children and saying, that gives me hope for the future. And just being satisfied at that. So often the establishment actively works to erase the path, but the youth keep redrawing it. And there's nothing new about youth leading us to a better path. The civil rights and anti-Vietnam War movements were predominantly led by youth. Occupy Wall Street was a youth movement. But our youth are tired and frustrated. I mean, wouldn't you be? They keep drawing us a path to a better way, begging us to follow, or maybe even lead on occasion. So it's up to us adults to not just listen to the youth and tell them how proud and impressed we are, but to take up the path to the end of the sidewalk, to be the leaders in fighting for a better world. And that's not to say we adults are doing nothing. We saw it in Minneapolis. We see it in simple acts of resistance across the country. We are seeing it today with so many out this very day at No Kings protests. We see it in progressives taking up the call and running for office. We even see it with the actions of so many in our congregation. But we have to do more. And it's time for change the pattern. It's time for us adults to not just follow the path, but start making it ourselves. So what can we do about it? For starters, vote. Vote like your life depends on it, because even if it doesn't, somebody's does. Write and call your senators and congressmen, even if, like me, Andy Biggs is your congressman. It really can affect how they vote. Not so much Andy, but the rest of them. Sign the petitions we have at the back of the table. Or better yet, take a petition to get others to sign. Find a local protest effort find a local protest or effort to support. Mobilize.us is a great place to check out what is happening in our area. If you have the ability to do so, find a local progressive candidate and donate your time to their campaign. And let me acknowledge that I speak from a place of privilege. Not everyone has the means or the safety to act, which makes it all the more important that those of us with privilege do act. So go out, make change, do what you can to make the world a better place. Because I have confidence we will get there. I believe we can find the place over the rainbow connection, the place where the sidewalk ends. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Amen. So I'd like to close with a song we haven't done here before. It's by Serena Partridge, who is a song leader in the Minneapolis area and did a lot of community singing during the recent siege of Minneapolis, and this is one of the songs that was part of that group that she helped found, the Singing Resistance. And so, since you haven't heard it before, probably, I will play the melody all the way through, and then I'll sing the first verse. You're welcome to sing with me, and then I'll invite you to stand and join me. At that point, maybe you'll feel like you know it a little bit. It goes like this. The future is calling for healing. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? The future is calling for call for justice. The future is calling for justice. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Can you hear it? The future is calling for justice, and the people will sing along, and the singing will keep us strong. And for joy, the future is calling for joy. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? The future is calling for joy, and the people will sing along, and the singing will keep us strong, and calling for courage. The future is calling for courage. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Can you hear it? The future is calling for courage, and the people will sing along, and the singing will keep us strong, and our courage will keep us strong, and our joy will keep us strong, and justice will keep us strong, and our healing will keep us strong. Thank you.
After service ends, there will be no noon activities today, but please join us for coffee hour with food and refreshments in our community space, the Johnson Room, just across the patio. And while there is no formal children's programming this summer, we will have activity tables set up right there in the Johnson Room. You know what? You don't have to be a kid to do an activity if you really want to. So, hey, John, please close our service.
Shel Silverstein says, "Listen to the mustn'ts, child. Listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles and won'ts. Listen to the never haves, then listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be. Go in peace, go in love."